Let's go to Zephaniah. Zephaniah chapter 2. You know, our God says some beautiful things. And therefore, when we enwrap and engross ourselves in what he has said, our salvation is in carrying out those things, because Yahweh God is the only one that can save you. He said, ain't nobody can save you. Who can save? And your salvation is written in this books. Let's go to Zephaniah chapter 2, starting at verse 1. What does it say?
Gather yourself together, ye. Gather together, O nation not desired.
O nation not desired. He doesn't say people. He said, gather yourself together, O nation. A nation of people, for some reason, won't be liked. Nobody will care for them. And Yahweh is telling them, hey, I want you to gather yourself together, because nobody likes you. And therefore, in nobody liking you, come together. And he says here, and I'm at the book of Numbers. I just want to read this to you. Book of Numbers, chapter 23. I want you to hold in Zephaniah. But in Numbers chapter 23, verse, I'd like to start at verse 5. Got that?
You supposed to hold the Zephaniah.
Okay. And Yahweh put a word in Balaam's mouth, and said, return unto Balak, and thus thou shalt speak. And he returned unto him, and lo, he stood by his burnt sacrifice, he and all the priests of Moab. And he took up this his parable and said, Balak, the king of Moab, has brought me from Aram, out of the mountain of the east, saying, come, curse me, Jacob, and come, defile Israel. How shall I curse whom Allah has not cursed? Or how shall I defile whom Yahweh has not defiled? For from the top of the rock I see him, and from the hill I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be recognized among the nations. You ain't recognized. That's right. That's why I said, gather yourself together, O nation, not desire. Because you ain't desire. That's what he said. He said, gather yourself. Because nobody wants you. Everybody's against you. But you are a nation of people. This is prophecy. This is here. It didn't say nothing about no organization. So what does it say here in Zephaniah chapter 2, starting at verse 2? Because you say verse 1 is gather yourself together, O nation not desired. Verse 2, what does it say?
Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass, as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Allahayimah come upon you, before the day of the Allahayimah's anger come upon you. Seek ye the Allahayimah, all ye meek of the earth, which have worth his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness. It may be ye shall be hid in the days of the Allahayimah's anger.
That's right. He said, in the day that you might, he says what here? He said, it may be, ye shall be hid in the day of Yahweh's anger. He said it might be that you might be hid. That's because he says here, if you go to Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 8, could somebody read that for me?
It says, therefore wait ye upon me, saith Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations.
The nations. Go ahead with an
that
S.
I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation, even all my fierce anger.
All my fierce anger. This is what Yahweh said. He said, and you saying, I hope. He said, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of jealousy. So Yahweh God is telling you that, you must pray that you might be hid. Because Yahweh said, read this book. This will tell you an absolute truth. He said that you might be hid, that I might be hid. And he said, gather, y'all come together so that y'all can be and encourage each other. Because it ain't a day. Yahweh said, you don't even want that day to come. But you pray that if your time is on this earth, that Yahweh God will have mercy on you. Because he says that it is his determination. He says, for my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour out my indignation, even all my fierce anger. That's right. My fierce anger. And he said on the nations of people, because Yahweh God deals with nations. That's right. This book can talk. Just need the Spirit to read it to you. So, let's go back and read in the Apocrypha. And this book talks of some very beautiful things. I'm at 2nd Ezra chapter 5. Nevertheless, as concerning the tokens, behold, the days shall come that they which dwell upon the earth shall be taken in a great number, and the way of truth shall be hidden, and the land shall be barren of faith. So Yahweh God is telling you something. But iniquity shall be increased above that which now thou seest, or that thou hast heard long ago. And the land that thou seest now to have root shall thou see wasted suddenly. But if the Most High, Elion, grant thee to live, thou shalt see after the third trumpet that the sun shall suddenly shine again in the night, and the moon twice in the day. I'm at 2nd Ezra chapter 5. 2nd Ezra chapter 5. We want to, I'm at verse 5. I want to read this because this is what gives you strength to know truth.
2nd Ezra chapter 5 verse what?
Okay, I'm at verse 5. And blood shall drip out of the wood, and the stone shall give his voice, and the people shall be troubled. Go ahead.
And even he shall rule whom they look not, for that dwell upon the earth, and the fowl shall take their flight away together. And
So the fowl shall take their flight away together. Go ahead.
And the
Sodomitish
sea shall cast out fish and make a noise in the night, which many have not known, but they shall all hear the voice thereof. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire shall be off sent out again, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and menstruous women shall bring forth monsters.
That's right. Menstruous woman shall bring forth. You see all these fires being broken out all over the place.
By lightning,
Go ahead.
too.
Go ahead.
Okay, I got it for you. And salt water shall be found in the sweet, and all friends shall destroy one another.
Yeah, all friends. Yeah, oh yeah. This is going to get worse. All friends.
And then shall wit hide itself, and understanding withdraw itself into his secret chamber, and shall be sought of many, and yet not be found. Then shall unrighteousness and incontinuity be multiplied upon the earth. One land also shall ask another and say, Is righteousness that maketh a man righteous gone through thee? And it shall say, No. At the same time shall men hope, but nothing obtain. They shall labor, but their way shall not prosper. To show thee such tokens I have need. And if thou wilt pray again and weep as now and fast 7 days, thou shalt hear yet greater things. Then I awaked, and an extreme fearfulness went through all my body, and my mind was troubled so that it fainted.
Okay, so the angel that was come to talk with me held me comfortable and set me up upon my feet. And in the second night, it came to pass that Salathiel, the captain of the people, came unto me, saying, Where hast thou been? And why is thy countenance so heavy? Knowest thou not that Israel is committed unto thee in the land of their captivity? Up then, and eat bread, and forsake us not, as the shepherd that leaveth his flock in the hands of cruel wolves. Then said I unto him, Go thy way from me, and come not nigh me. And he heard what I said, and went from me. And so I fasted 7 days, 7 days, mourning and weeping, like as Uriel, the angel, commanded me. And after 7 days, so it was, that the thoughts of my heart was very grievous unto me again. And my soul recovered the spirit of understanding. And I began to talk with the Most High, Elyon, again, and said, Yahweh, that bearest rule of every wood of the earth, and of all the trees thereof, thou hast chosen the one only vine, and of all the lands of the whole world, thou hast chosen the one pit, and of all the flowers thereof, one lily, and all the depths of the sea, thou hast fulled the one river, and all the building cities, thou hast hollowed Zion unto thyself. And of all the fowls that are created, thou hast named the one dove, and of all the cattle thou hast made, thou hast provided thee one sheep. And among all the multitudes of the people, thou hast gotten thee one people, and unto this people whom thou lovest, thou givest a Torah that is approved of all. And now, Yahweh, why hast thou given this one people over unto many, and upon the one root hast thou prepared others? Why hast thou scattered thy only one people among many? And they which did gainsay by promise, and believe not thy covenant, hast trodden them down. If thou didst so much hated thy people, yet should thou punish them with thy own hands? Now, when I had spoken these words, the angel that came to me the night afore was sent unto me, and said unto me, Hear me, and I will instruct thee. Hearken to the things that I say, and I shall tell thee more. And I said, Speak on, my Lord. Then said he unto me, Thou art sore troubled in mind for Israel's sake. Love thou that people better than he that made them? Can somebody continue? I'm at 34.
It says, and I said, No, Yahweh, but a very grief have I spoken, for my minds and pain me every hour, while I labor to comprehend the way of the Most High, and to seek out part of his judgment. And he said unto me, Thou canst not. And I said, Wherefore, Yahweh, whereunto was I born then? Or why was it not my mother's womb then my grave, that I might not have seen the travail of Jacob, and the worrisome toil of the stock of Israel?
Yeah, see, he's moaning. He's saying to them, he said, God, like a lot of people say, well, why did God do these things? And Israel, he's saying, man. And what Yahweh said here, he says here, which is really beautiful, he says, Thou art sore troubled in mind for Israel's sake. Love thou this people better than he that made them? Do you think you love them better than God? You think you love them with a greater intensity? And Yahweh said, that he loved Israel. And he asked them, he says, and he said unto them, Thou canst not. And I said, Wherefore? And he asked him, he says, While I labor to comprehend the way of the Most High, and to seek out part of his judgment. And he said unto me, Thou canst not. You can't understand why Yahweh do these things. You look at it. He does it. He said, you can't understand it. And therefore, we who are his creation must accept it, because it always is the right way, because it's Yahweh's way. And he is the creator. And he says, I love these people. You can't tell me that you love them more than I do. So can we continue?
And he said unto me, Number me the things that are not yet come. Gather me together the drops that are scattered abroad. Make me the flowers green again that are withered. Open me the places that are closed, and bring me forth the winds that in them are shut up. Show me the image of a voice, and then I will declare to thee the thing that thou laborest to know. And I said, O Yahweh, that bearest rule, who may know these things, but he that have not his dwelling with men? As for me, I am unwise. How may I then speak of these things thereof that thou askest me? Then he said unto me, Like as thou canst do none of these things that I have spoken of, even so canst thou not find out my judgment, or in the end the love that I have promised unto my people.
That's right, the love that he said, you can't find, he says, and I said, Behold, Yahweh, yet art thou nigh unto them that be reserved till the end. See, and he says here, and what shall they do that have been before me, or we that be now, or they that shall come after us? And he said unto me, I will liken my judgment unto a ring, like as there is no slackness of the last, even so there is no swiftness of the first. So I answered and said, Couldest thou not make those that have been made and be now, and that are for to come, at first, that thou mightest show thy judgment the sooner? Then answered he me, and said, the creature may not hasten above the Maker, neither may the world hold them at once that shall be created therein. And I said, as thou hast said unto thy servant, that thou which giveth life to all, hast given life at once to the creature that thou hast created, and the creature beareth it, even so it might now also bear them that now be present at once. And he said unto me, ask the womb of a woman, and say unto her, if thou bringest forth children, why does thou it not together, but one after another? Pray her therefore to bring forth 10 children at once. And he said, she cannot, but must do it by distance of time. Then said he unto me, even so have I given the womb of the earth to those that be sown in it in their time. For like as a young child may not bring forth the things that belongs to the age, even so have I disposed the world which I created. And I asked and said, seeing thou hast now given me the way, I will proceed to speak before thee. For our mother, of whom thou hast told me that she is young, draweth now nigh unto age. He answered me and said, ask a woman that beareth children, and she shall tell thee. Say unto her, wherefore are now they whom thou hast now brought forth like those that were before, but less of stature? And she shall answer thee, they that be born in the strength of youth are of one fashion, and they that are born in the time of age, when the womb faileth, are otherwise. Consider thou therefore also how that ye are less of stature than those that were before you, and so are they that come after you less than ye, as the creature which now begins to be old, and has passed over the strength of youth. Then said I, Lord, I beseech thee, if I have found favor in thy sight, show thy servant by whom thou visitest thy creature. So in Ezra 2nd Ezra chapter 5 talks of a time of how Yahweh God brings things forward in his time, in his place, in his own stature. Things cannot be rushed. Because Yahweh God, he himself does things at a qualified time so that it would have continuity to it. In other words, so it also says in 2nd Ezra chapter 4, it says, and unto these things Uriah the angel gave them answered and said, even when the number of the seed is full in you, for he has weighed the world in the balance. By measure has he measured the time, and by number has he numbered the time. And he does not move nor stir them until the said measure be fulfilled. So it's, and that's 2nd Ezra chapter 4, starting at verse 36 to 37. And this is how things are done on earth. Gradually, at space of time. He said, can a woman have all 10 kids at one time? No. It's the same woman that is in her youth, that when she have children in her old age, is a child the same way? No. It's different time measures. So is the things that are put in the earth. Men are not as graft to do certain things at one age. Just like an old man don't think like a young man. A young man don't think like an old man. It's two different spaces of time. And what they have experienced makes them think a different way. A man that has children to a man that doesn't. A man that is 50 years old to a man that's 20 years old. They're going to think differently. Their bodies are different. There's certain demands of the very spirit that abides in them. And therefore the children of Israel, we think a lot different because we have endured so much hardship in America. America has not been an easy place for us to survive. And therefore we have grown in strength in knowing a knowledge that was never, ever, that we was ever supposed to ever acquire. Just like they said, if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book. That's not true. Because if you want to hide something from a white man, you put it in a book. Because when they read the Bible and they read it supposedly to know it, why would you put your picture in a book that is geography is African? So that means that you read it and you made that type of mistake, and therefore I read it and I understand that book, and you're going to try to tell everybody that Egypt is not in Africa, and that these white people, so who's stupid? You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's crazy. You ain't going to convince, you can get maps from ever, and Egypt ain't going to be nowhere other than on the continent of Africa. It ain't going to be in Asia, it ain't going to be in Europe, so where would it be? It ain't going to be in South America, it's going to be in Africa. So for you to tell people that that's not Africa, because when there's only 7 continents, then who's reading what? Who understands what? So they make these snares against us and tell what we won't learn in a book. Every book we read is about him. When we read about ourselves, then we uplift it. And when we read the Torah, that's your story. It's not his story, it's your story. Is he involved in it? Yes, but that story is about you. A people that will go and come into captivity. So I just want to encourage you and let you know that Yahweh God is with us. We have to nourish ourselves in this great and awesome book, because this book answers all questions. And the only way you can get it is through the Spirit, because the Spirit is you can only be guided through the Spirit to acquire the answers that you need. Other than that, you're wasting your time. And I just want to encourage you, and may Yahweh bless each and every one of us, because we need our God to help us. And therefore, when Yahweh God comes to help us, to deliver us from the hands of those that have made merchandise in our community, and we can see that constantly. And therefore, may Yahweh bless each and every one of us, and may Yahweh have mercy upon us, and may we love our God eternally, for Yahweh God is God, and there is none other than him. So let us have this prayer and know that we can make a difference in our life. Yahweh God, we thank you and pray. We ask you for your guidance and your blessing. May the Spirit of our God be with us as we go and come. Yahweh God, we ask you for the spirit of obedience, that it may shine down upon us, and that we may, Yahweh God, walk in all those things that will make us strong. We thank you, Yahweh God, that we have behold wondrous things in thy Torah. May we remember you in all that we set our hand to do. Yahweh Elohayimah.
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 May Yahweh bless you and keep you and strengthen you. May the Spirit of our God be upon us. May we love Yahweh God and bless all of Israel. Bless those of us that may be ailing from certain things, those of us that might be sick. And we pray, Yahweh God, that those of us that we may be, truly have the Spirit to be determined and to keep all of that Torah. May we love Yahweh God forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.